What'd you say?
We need an opener, don't we?
An opener for what?
For this podcast episode.
How about this? Ready? Roll the opener. All right, everyone. So before we start the podcast, spoiler alerts for
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, Thor Ragnarok, Joker.
Endgame. Any movie that came out in the past 7 years. Spoiler alert.
Okay, thanks. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody.
And good night.
And okay, that was a great podcast. Good night, everyone.
Off to a great start.
Yeah. All right. Well, how you doing today, Colin?
Man, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think I'm doing okay.
Ah,
Pumped to do this.
yeah. How was your day? Was it okay?
Yeah, it was okay. It's just a lazy Sunday, man.
Lazy Sunday. Wake up in the late afternoon. Have you seen that SNL skit?
No.
Oh, it's very good.
Okay.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Winner.
Well, we are going to go and talk about our winner. Actually, maybe start because that was really stupid.
Okay.
The winner of our movie contest last week was a quote, which was, "I'll take your ball.
You got to find the entry point."
You married? And the answer was Tower Heist, and I got a text from my buddy Jack, and he's the winner.
Congrats also to Jack and his lovely wife. They are going to be having a baby, so congratulations. What do you want to talk about today?
Man, I think we were talking about this earlier. You and I are big movie buffs.
Love the movies.
They announced on Thursday, whatever day it was, that movie theaters are finally opening up next week.
Yep.
And we're pretty pumped. Like, legit too pumped.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Because we used to go to a movie theater by us that served food, and we'd go there every weekend. I mean, we would drop $40 a weekend just seeing whatever was out. And sometimes we'd see terrible movies, but it was okay because we were going to the movies.
Every weekend.
Right
after church.
Yep.
Let's go see a movie.
Straight after church.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say during this whole quarantine situation, we've been watching a lot of, movies and TV and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What has been your favorite movie and then your favorite TV show or, whatever that you have discovered or watched for the first time during quarantine?
We watched 1917.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good.
It was
I enjoyed
very
that.
impressive.
And we
Impressive
watched Lighthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say those two were probably my favorites.
That movie's crazy.
It was up there.
Yeah.
With just weird and...
Yeah, no, that movie was something else.
Yeah.
What did you like specifically about it? Why would you say that's up there for you?
I mean, the entire movie is these two, I don't know what you call them, like sailors? They basically sit on a lighthouse.
Yeah,
on
they're
an
like
island.
lighthouse attendants.
Yeah. So they live in the lighthouse, and it had to be like in the early 1900s or something like that. It was really a long time ago. But it stars William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. And William Dafoe's character has been there for a long time, and Robert Pattinson is new. So they are on this island, and basically it's like their struggles and also how they kind of slip into madness. It's got a lot of like mythology themes as well as just psychological themes as well. But the entire movie is in black and white. And
it's shot in like 4:3 aspect ratio or something like that. Yeah,
so it's super tiny and it's all black and white. And they do a lot of natural light. Like there's no I can't remember the term, but like the light is always behind you. They always use like candlelight or sunlight or something like that.
It was very artsy film student kind of movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it was done very, very well. Yeah, that was really good. I really liked The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of person I would recommend that to.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it is pretty out there and it's pretty weird and there's some parts that are pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's not like a family movie.
No.
I would definitely not watch it with fans.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But it is a great movie.
Yeah.
The one that jumps out to me, which we watched a couple weeks ago, which I also, there's not a huge audience, I think that at least of my friends and family that I would recommend it to, but Guns Akimbo.
Oh, yeah.
Was a really interesting movie. It wasn't something that I would probably watch again.
Yeah.
But I was entertained watching it.
It was different.
Yeah. A pretty unique story.
Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about the man who killed Hitler and Bigfoot.
Oh,
and then Bigfoot.
Holy crap. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
That one was really good too.
It was more emotional.
What's his name?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was interesting. If anybody wants to watch The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, it's on Hulu. And it was really good.
Well, let's not, build people's expectations, because I think the reason why we liked it so much is because we had such low expectations.
That's true, yes.
But no, that was a very entertaining movie.
Yeah. But why Guns Akimbo?
That one, I've never seen a story like that told in such a way that is entertaining, refreshing, new, and just completely unfamiliar. Like, you really had no idea what was going to happen throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's a pretty weird premise. It's like some sort of future dystopian society where bad people, like criminals and stuff, get into this game that they have to, they're pretty much bounty hunters to kill other bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And this guy, Daniel Radcliffe, plays this character.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter mustn't go back to Hogwarts.
I'm a what?
I'm a what?
So
it's the pinches.
He messes with the wrong people, like the makers of the game, they kidnap him and put him in the game, but they bolt guns to his hands. So he can't use his hands because they're just guns now.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to survive playing this game
while someone's chasing him.
While someone's trying to kill him. It's pretty interesting, it reminds me a lot of
Scott Pilgrim
versus the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that kind of editing style, kind of comic booky.
Yeah, but it also plays in the character's imagination sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
Where there was a couple scenes where he thought it was going to play out a certain way, and then it goes back to reality, and it's not at all what he thought it was.
Right. And then I think for TV shows, we watched that Zac Efron show on Netflix.
Yeah. Down to Earth.
Down to Earth
with Zac Efron.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
I learned.
I was surprised by it.
Right. Besides the fact that it was Zac Efron, a lot of people would turn heads
what
from
a babe.
That. He is a babe. He's got the body of a goddess. Not a god, a goddess. Okay. All right, edit
I think
that
you
out.
might be gay.
What?
I'm a what?
I'm a what? No, I learned a lot from that show. I thought I was going to be oh, this is stupid. But I don't know if a lot of people probably know the premise of the show, but he goes to different parts of the world and learns about healthy living that certain places have done. But it's not just what are people doing? It's
he goes all over to places that he goes
true.
to some big cities. He goes to places like the jungle,
right,
where there's not a whole lot of people,
right.
And he really visits all different kinds of societies,
right,
and how different they are from obviously American society,
right,
and what those other societies and other countries and places are doing to help preserve the earth,
right. And themselves, learning a healthy living. And that was I'll say that was probably my favorite thing we watched during quarantine, because we watched a lot of Last Man Standing.
We watched all of Riverdale.
We watched all of Riverdale, which kind of let down this season.
Yeah, this season wasn't that great.
No, not my favorite. Dude, honestly, all of quarantine seems like a blur, all meshed together.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to think what we did. We watched all the Harry Potters, all the Lord of the Rings.
We did.
Rick and Morty. We watched Rick and Morty.
Yeah, we watched the new season of Rick and Morty, which was really good.
I think
it had a slow start.
It did, yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the first couple episodes, but the last episode was amazing.
Yeah.
What I love about that show, a lot of people don't get Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
But what I like about that show, if you can even call it a sitcom style show, I like that the characters actually develop. Because, those kind of cartoon sitcom shows, whatever, you want to call them, the characters don't really have any sort of development. They're the same from the pilot to the last episode, at least for the most part.
Yeah.
Shows like Family Guy and, Futurama and those kind of things.
They stay the same,
They're a pretty predictable character all the way through, and the big events don't really change that character's perspective, and they don't change that character, if that makes sense. But in Rick and Morty, it's totally different.
It is.
The first season, Morty's oh man,
oh
Rick, and he's a scaredy cat, and he doesn't want to participate in anything. Mm-hmm. And by the last episode, he's just F you, Grandpa. It's you're a terrible human being, and I'm sick of this shit. Yeah. I love that show.
So, what is your favorite movie of all time? I know this answer.
My favorite movie?
Yes, favorite movie, why, and what you love about it.
Okay, my favorite movie of all time is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Mm-hmm.
Why I love it, no matter how many times I watch it,
Mm-hmm.
I still relate to the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And I always want to get up off the couch after watching the movie and go do something.
We're watching this movie tonight.
There's not a lot of movies out there that really make you want to get up and go outside and do something and discover something and live life. And it seems so real, you know? And I love the characters in the movie. Adam Scott's character that he plays, that dick.
Yeah, he's the asshole, yeah.
Man, he nails it. He plays a dick so well.
Yeah.
He does it in Step Brothers so well. He did it in this movie so well.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ben Stiller directed it, starred in it.
Yeah.
And I think he just did a phenomenal job with the character. I mean, obviously, it's based off of a book or something like that. You know, the other actors in that, Kristen Wiig is in it. She does a great job. And it doesn't try to be too funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. It has a lot of funny parts, but it doesn't try too hard. It's pretty grounded.
It's a beautiful story, too.
It's a beautiful story, and it's shot gorgeously.
Yeah.
That's my favorite movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite and why?
My favorite is The Dark Knight.
Yeah, classic.
The second Batman film that Christopher Nolan filmed or shot, whatever.
Hashtag Tofno.
Tofno?
Yeah. Christopher Nolan.
Oh.
Tofno.
Gotcha. We're besties. We call him that. So I've been a massive Batman fan my entire life, and I've seen them all from Michael Keaton to Adam West to Val Kilmer to George Clooney to now then, Ben Affleck. What was so great about this movie, and besides the fact that it was like one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Yep, I would agree with that.
That it was just an amazing story, but it hit at such a different point in my life.
When did that come out?
2007, July 11, 2007.
Okay.
I remember that day. I remember because I didn't even know anything about it. There was like one teaser. That was it. Mm-hmm. And then the movie came out. And we were
had you seen, obviously you had probably seen Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
Before.
Like multiple times.
Yeah.
So I'd seen that movie, and I didn't even know they were making a second one until it came out. It hit at the right point in my life where I was at a really bad spot with my family and with my life, and it was like right in the middle of summer going from 7th grade, 8th grade. And it told the story of a guy who at the height of his career is, even if he thinks he's quote unquote invincible, he is still getting challenged. And it's just it's a guy's next, it's sort of it's part of the hero's journey.
Right.
You're built up to this great point, but it doesn't matter if you're on and up with a positive thing in your life, you're going to hit speed bumps no matter what. And he hits a lot of speed bumps in that movie. And I really related to that, where it's like he's got these great friends and then they turn on him, and then he has to essentially change his life around at the end of it. And it's a superhero movie. And so I love superhero movies. Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful movie. I've seriously seen it over 100 times. Like, that's an unhealthy amount that I've seen it. And it's just a beautiful story and it was shot great.
Also shot great, yeah. Every time I watch that movie, I'm always surprised at the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's so not natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural, but it's understandable.
Right.
And it's believable.
Right.
Heath Ledger, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Without him, I don't know if that movie would have been what it is.
Oh, no, absolutely. Because it wasn't necessarily, I think another great thing about it was the villain.
It was a Joker film.
It was a Joker film.
Yeah.
With Batman in it.
Yeah.
And it was just there are a lot of, now we've got over 50 superhero movies now that we can compare these movies to, but
none of them stand up.
Even as big as Avengers Endgame, which is the number one movie right now, grossed worldwide, but still
so that's a different kind of movie.
Right. And that's in its own right. I still love that movie.
Yeah.
But to have a movie like The Dark Knight where at the time and years afterwards, nothing came close. Still to this day, I don't think anything has really come close to it.
Right.
That has blown me out of the water to been that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. Yeah. It is the best movie I've ever seen.
That's a quality film.
It is.
So who do you think, in your opinion, is the best Batman?
I like them all for their different taste. Except for Adam West, because I'm not really into that kind of kicky buddy.
Oh my
god, Robin, let's get to the Batcave.
Oh, so good.
No, not my thing. I really do love Ben Affleck, and I really wish they gave him a shot.
Well, they gave him several shots.
They did, but I really wish they gave him his own solo film that was specifically for him, and I really did enjoy what they did for the character. It's something we hadn't seen yet. We kind of saw it in The Dark Knight Rises, where it's a beaten down, he's been doing this for a while.
Right.
and he's kind of like, kind of a little bit angrier.
So he's only in Batman v Superman and
Justice League,
right?
And in Suicide Squad.
And yeah, sure.
For a couple minutes, but
yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that he doesn't really have his own film. I think that's what DC did wrong.
Yeah.
I
can agree with that.
They tried to catch up so fast to Marvel. Like, oh my gosh, Marvel's 11 years in.
Right.
And now they're putting all of their superheroes in one film. It's like, oh, we got to do that.
Right.
And I think that's what the problem was, is they assumed that people know these characters from the comics and all these kind of things.
Right.
But
or just their names would bring enough people.
Right. And it's like, no, because I don't care about these characters.
Yeah. I don't know these characters.
I don't know them, and I don't care about them, and I need some sort of background more than just a 3-minute flashback.
Right.
And that 3-minute flashback is freaking all in slow motion. Freaking Zack Snyder.
Easy.
Hey. He's a chump.
We've talked about this before, that there's been plenty of Batman movies, there's been plenty of Superman movies, but you haven't really seen like a Wonder Woman film. And I think that's why it was done and why it was so successful.
It was good.
It was good.
I think it's still DC's best movie.
I think.
Besides the new Joker. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a good film. But that's a film I don't like, but I love.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I would watch it.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm too afraid to watch it again. Because it was so disturbing in that regard. I mean, to watch somebody...
It's uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable.
It's not disturbing because it's like scary.
No.
It's disturbing because it's very uncomfortable to watch somebody go through those kind of struggles.
Right.
And especially to be bullied the way that he was and all these kind of things. It's just
to see him like...
kind of breaks your heart.
You sort of like, they give you the cake and then they take the cake away towards the end, and you're just like... It just makes it even worse.
Or better. It makes it worse in the feeling, but it makes the film overall better.
Absolutely.
So, spoiler alert, do you think the end of the movie, do you think that he was like imagined the whole thing and made it all up? Or do you think everything actually happened and he was in the insane asylum afterwards?
I would love for it to be real, but it would be so much better if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because that he made up this entire thing in such detail that he was still crazy.
Yeah.
That they even said, they kind of hinted at the beginning of the movie that he was in an insane asylum.
Right.
And I heard a theory that's like, well, this is just him still in the insane asylum because he was banging his head against the door in that scene. And I really wish I'm glad they didn't say anything because I feel like it would have ruined it.
Yeah. Yeah. I choose to believe that he is actually the Joker.
Definitely, yeah.
And that, I mean, obviously he killed that lady when he's walking out of the, walking out of the room. I believe that the whole story was made up. Mm-hmm. He was telling her that story the whole time.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that the Joker's thing is he doesn't have a backstory.
Yeah, that's true.
This might have been the 5th story that he told her. Like, he's making all of these new stories up because it's exciting for him and it's fun and it's all this. It's a big joke, right? But he's still the actual Joker. He's still dangerous. He still fought Batman or all, all these things. That's what I choose to believe. I think that makes it a really good movie.
Yeah,
that's what's really impressive is that no matter what you choose to believe at the end, it's still a good movie.
Right, and that's fantastic writing. Yeah, to the point where like, was that real or what the hell was that?
Right,
and just to talk a little bit on that topic, the scene in the bathroom right after he kills those two guys and he does the dancing in the bathroom. I remember sweating in the theater because it was so uncomfortable to see how, and the acting was phenomenal. I mean, he got a Grammy, didn't he? He got something for it. But I mean, he should
not a Grammy, an Oscar.
Grammy. He sang in the movie too. Just the way his face was like dead inside, but his body was dancing. It was so uncomfortable, and the music, so crazy.
Yeah, you did a great job. Okay, so here's another question about superhero films since we're on that topic. Do you think Hollywood should take a break on the superhero films and TV shows for a while? It feels like the pool is a little crowded.
I'd agree. I don't think they should get rid of it entirely. I think they should pull the reins a little bit.
Yeah.
I definitely think Marvel, they're going to have to pull something out of their ass.
They're going to have to do something very special to keep people entertained.
Right, because how they ended it last was amazing.
Right.
And that's the problem with Avengers Endgame is they're going to be chasing that spotlight.
And, you know, what I'm nervous about, I'm nervous and excited at the same time.
Yeah.
Because Feige is going to start working with
Star Wars.
With Star Wars.
Yeah.
He's going to be working a lot more with Star Wars stuff, and I feel that's going to take away a lot of his time and energy from the Marvel.
Right.
Which is a great thing because I'm a bigger Star Wars fan than I am a Marvel fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a big Marvel fan.
Yeah.
What is that going to mean for the Marvel universe?
Yeah.
You know, they're going to have to do something really special
Yeah.
to keep people entertained and to keep it fresh and
Right.
new. Yeah, I think that the superhero genre right now is a little oversaturated.
Oh, definitely.
Especially, and you know what sucks is there's still good content
Yeah.
being made. The Boys is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's also disturbing,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people because some stuff is pretty graphic in that
Very.
show.
Very.
But it's an interesting show. It's a new take on the superhero stuff. So
Right.
it sucks. And like the Umbrella Academy,
Yeah.
like you like that show.
Yeah.
So there's
It's
still
different.
good content
Yeah.
being made that's different and that's fresh and that's new. But it's like it's all still derivative of the superhero genre, right? You could still pretty much guess what's going to happen
Right.
eventually.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why you have to really do something different, like the Joker, like the Boys and Umbrella Academy. Like these
Uh-huh.
are comic books that are out there, but you have to do your own little twist.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel is sort of going in that direction with the TV shows they're putting out, some of the movies. Like they're picking characters that you kind of know, and then there are some you don't know. Now that could be very beneficial.
That was the best move that they made with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
They brought in this whole new audience because nobody knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. I mean, half of those characters aren't even in the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. It's like 2.
Yeah. I think that was a great move, especially with the casting and the director choice of James Gunn. I would say Guardians of the Galaxy was the first comedy superhero film that Marvel did.
Yeah.
Their other movies were funny, but Guardians of the Galaxy is more
Was
of a
pretty
comedy
funny, yeah,
than
definitely.
anything else.
Yeah.
And that was great because I think that's one of the films that like really engaged a lot of people onto a whole new level. That's where they got me.
Right.
Like I had seen all the movies before, but it wasn't until Guardians came out where I really invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. See, that's the funny thing difference between you and I, because I did not like Guardians.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, oh, I was like, this is enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
I didn't take anything away from it.
It was straight up entertainment.
Right. And it was. And there was sometimes I enjoyed it, but I walked away being like, meh. My favorite, besides like all the Avengers movies, when it's all of them together, which had never been done before, was Captain America Winter Soldier.
See, I wasn't a huge fan
See,
of that one.
But I loved it because it was a lot like The Dark Knight. It was grounded. It was a spy film.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much about, like, it was superhero stuff and cool, like, things like that, but it was more grounded, like
Was
you
that
said.
the first one that the Russo brothers directed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love their directing.
Oh, they're
and,
great.
And their writing and everything. They
Right.
did a great job. You know, rewatching that one,
Yeah.
I enjoy it more every time
Yeah.
because I'm a little more invested in the character.
Yeah.
But I just did not like Captain America as a character
Yeah.
after the first film, so it was hard for me to like
Yeah.
the second one that he was in.
I did not like the first one as much as I liked the rest of them, because I
Uh-huh.
think they had a different style of what they were shooting for.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the Russo's brothers just really brought like this big, because the first one was like very big and it was this big spectacle because it was like this, because he's a very prominent character.
Right.
And they really brought him down to be, to this more spy thriller drama
Mm-hmm.
in the second one. And they sort of did that in the third one for the most part. I mean, it was more like the Civil War was like an Avengers 2.0, but that's a really hard, knowing the comic book myself
Yeah.
for Civil War, that's a hard thing to copy.
Yeah, especially when you don't have the rights
Oh yeah, to anybody.
to anybody who's actually in
Yeah.
Civil War.
Right.
Yeah, but I think they did a really good job with that
Oh
film.
yeah. For what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite Marvel film is?
Yeah. Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
your favorite?
Yeah. I mean, it's a strong second is Endgame and then Infinity War.
Hmm.
I like I said, I love the Avengers films just because
Uh-huh.
it brings me back to what I would read as a kid,
Right.
and to see them all on the screen, and
It's hard to copy that feeling.
yeah,
You know, when you're in the theater, you got your empty bowl of popcorn because
Yeah.
you finished it before the trailers were done. You're waiting and you're waiting, and then the music
I'm getting
starts.
goosebumps right now.
Oh
dude.
my gosh! And they're all on the screen together. It is It is very special.
I remember seeing Infinity War, and I think it's also just part of the excitement and being in a room full of people that feel the same excitement. I mean, seeing Infinity War for the first time, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like seeing it for the first time surrounded by people. And I think Nick and I were going, and then you were there.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't in town, I think. No. And then you just showed up at the theater. We're like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Luckily.
I flew in, I was in like Texas or something, and
Yeah.
I flew in. I got an early flight out to go be there.
But to be a part of that and just to like see, cheer and be excited and it made the entire thing so much more
Intimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just feels like you're part of something greater.
Yeah.
And to be in that, and it was so exciting and cool. Same thing for Endgame too as well.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me of when we did the triple feature for the Dark Knight movies.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was the opening day of
July
Dark Knight
20th,
Rises.
2013,
Yeah.
2014.
The Dark Knight Rises.
2013.
And we were in the theater for like 9 hours that day.
Yeah, well, we saw all 3 Dark Knight movies.
Yep. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so 1, 2, 3. And I remember when Bane got on screen, you grabbed my leg.
Yeah.
I was sitting right next to you, like, oh my God. It was, yeah. I mean, a lot of people shit on that movie.
Yeah. I like it.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I could argue that it felt a little rushed, like the film, that the plot moved pretty quickly. I mean, it's almost a 2.5 hour movie because they were trying to fit in like 3 different storylines into one, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, and Tofno was also trying to wrap up
Right.
the whole,
Because he said he wasn't going to do one.
right.
Because after Ledger, he was like, I'm done.
Yeah, and after that movie, he knew he was going to be done, so he's like,
Yeah.
all right, I have to wrap up this universe
Right.
in a way that if somebody wanted to pick it up
Right.
afterwards, like if the studio said, well, this is insanely successful, let's keep rolling with it, I don't think Christian Bale would do
No.
anymore.
No.
But if they wanted to, they set it up in a way that they could,
Right.
but it's also the best possible way for it to end.
I think they did technically set it up for more, but I think they were like, well, we're going to reboot everything anyway.
Right.
Because at the time, Marvel was about halfway through. I mean, they had already had the Iron Mans, the Thor, and I think even the year before is when the big Avengers came out.
Right.
And so it would have made sense for them to be like, well, we got to get this started, 2 years later, the Batman vs. Superman came out, 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that movie was garbage.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
at the beginning. But then the extended cut really made it better.
No, the extended cut put me to sleep.
Because it's 3 hours long.
Because it's 3 hours long, and you're not giving me anything extra.
I disagree.
Yeah, well, that's
We're gonna
that. We have a whole podcast about that one.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Why it's great and why you're wrong. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I think my favorite, which I think a lot of people forget about, but everyone knows, Ragnarok, I think is probably my favorite.
That's a good one. That's a different style of a movie too.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, Guardians was their first comedy, but I think Thor Ragnarok was like the best comedy out of all of
Thor
them.
was very funny.
It was very funny.
I think what made it so funny is we were expecting Thor 3,
Yeah.
not funny Thor 3.
Yeah.
Because Thor 1 and 2 were,
Very
Thor's
serious,
I mean, there are funny parts, yes, because it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But, his character was pretty dull.
Yeah.
And the fact that Taika Waititi came in there and he told Hemsworth, he's like, dude, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Like, let's start over with this
Yeah.
character and bring it to life. And
It was
they're
really well done.
yeah, and them working together really made that character so much more lovable
Mm-hmm.
and set him up perfectly for Infinity War
Yeah.
and Endgame.
Right.
Where would we be right now without Fat Thor?
Right. That's true.
He's the greatest part of Endgame.
Yeah. But even besides that, like, that they built up that family and him getting his brother back and being the king of Asgard and then being like wiped away. It was all taken away, which built more of a impact to me, at least.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, we built up this entire thing where you've saved your people and you're moving on to what's next, and then all of a sudden half of them are dead. So it just adds more, and then they kill your brother off. So it was, sorry for the spoiler alerts around this, guys. If you haven't seen these movies, you should probably stop watching this podcast. What's your favorite type of movie?
My favorite type of movie. That's tough.
That's a hard question. I'm sorry.
No, it is a hard question, but it's a good question because I do think I have a favorite. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I could go the easy route of saying, oh, it really depends on my mood and all this
I
kind
was
of
just
stuff.
about to say that, yeah.
But to be fair, it doesn't. I think a good movie and your favorite type of movie is the movie that you will never turn down, no matter what kind of mood you're in.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm sad, I'll still watch The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah.
If I'm happy and I want to laugh, I'll still watch The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. If I'm depressed, I'll still want to watch The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I think that's what makes a good movie. So I guess I would say like adventure films.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably adventure, because I'll never turn off a Harry Potter movie either.
Yeah, it's true.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Man, that's a podcast in its own right there, is the Harry Potter films.
Yeah, let us know, guys, if you want us to do another episode about Harry Potter films, because we could talk about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Freaking nerds.
You should put a nerd alert at the beginning of this.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
I mean, that is like hard, depending on the mood. But I mean, you're right. Like I could happy, sad, depressed, sad.
I'm so sad.
I could always watch The Dark Knight, like no problem. And I think besides like the superhero genre, which that's the thing, like I could watch as many of those as I want, and they'd still kind of give me, I could take away something. Like if you pick up anything in this podcast, I will defend almost every single superhero movie, except for the new Justice League. That was pretty garbage. I'm excited for the remake. I'll defend a lot of them because they have a special place in my heart. But I think I really think a thriller would get me in a good mood. Doesn't matter when it is or what it is, it will always get me in a good mood. Or not in a good mood, but just, I love a good movie. That adventure films are great, but you hate this movie. But remember Prisoners? With Hugh Jackman?
Something that takes you out of life.
Right. And puts you in a different...
You're not focused on what's going on around you. You're just focused on that movie.
Right.
Yeah. No, Prisoners, that was intense.
It's very intense.
I only saw that movie once because it was so intense.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing that in theaters. That one was good. Yeah, I agree. Thrillers are up there because it's the same way with like the Zodiac for me, which is another long movie.
Yeah.
And you really have to pay attention and sit down and watch it.
But it immerses you.
It does.
When you pay attention.
You are locked in
right.
to that movie. And I could watch that one, happy, sad, bored, excited, whatever it might be. That's another great movie.
Yeah, there's so many out there that I could be so immersive. Like I just watched Sinister the other night.
Oh, no thank you.
That's a good movie because it's very creepy
I don't like
that
those.
regard. I love scary movies.
I like some scary movies.
I'll watch a scary movie to go to bed. Sometimes. Depends on the time.
I will watch a scary movie when it's light out, and then I'll be fine. But if I watch a scary movie when it's light out, and then it gets dark by the end of the movie, I have to watch something happy before I go to bed.
Well, we
like
used to watch
something like
we
that.
used to watch scary movies back in Nashville when we lived there, and you keep the blinds open the entire time. I couldn't see.
Yeah, dude, because it's scary.
Yeah, but most scary movies are in the dark, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, can you at least close one? And he's like, no, man, it's a ghost. I'm like, chill, dude. There's not going to be a ghost.
All right,
we slept in the same room. Nothing was going to happen.
Yeah, but you freaking talk in your sleep, man. It's terrifying.
No, that's not that bad.
Oh, it's not that bad?
All right, well, guys, what did I say?
I'm going to tell a story real quick, okay? So Colin and I used to sleep in the same room when we lived in Nashville, and we he slept in an air mattress that was at the at the foot of my bed.
Yep.
Because it was a pretty small room, a small apartment.
6 months.
Colin, it was like the second night.
Yeah.
And I think we just got finished watching like The Babadook or something like that.
Which is a great movie.
Which is a great movie. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of scary.
A little bit, yeah. For you.
When we finished watching that movie, we go to bed, and it is the second night Colin was living with me.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know at this point that Colin sleep talk. I'm laying in bed, and it's like 3 a.m, and I hear, oh no. I'm like, what the hell was that? Oh no. I'm like, oh my, Colin. And he's like, oh. I'm like, Colin, what? And he's like, oh shit. Right. And I sit up in bed and I'm frozen. I'm like, I don't. And guys, I'm blind without my glasses on. I did not put my glasses on. It was dark in there.
From Scooby-Doo.
And I sat up. I'm like, I can't see anything. I don't want to move. I don't want to die. Okay. I think there's nothing. I'm just gonna lay back down.
And I'm over in the corner like.
And then he starts snoring. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's sleep talking.
It's been a lot of those.
Oh my goodness. I woke up the next morning. I'm like, dude, what the hell? And he's like, what? What was that last night? He's like, what are you talking about? I had these weird dreams though. I'm like, what were you dreaming, Colin? What were you dreaming And he's like, I was dreaming that I was getting chased by a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, man, Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Run. It's funny because you're the only one that's like heard these.
Oh my gosh.
Because you've heard it more than once.
There was another one where in the middle of the night, you're like, something licking me.
I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that. I remember waking up because the edge of the air mattress was like cold and it touched my toe. And I woke up and I was like, something's licking me.
Something's licking me. I'm not going to move. I'm just going to announce it. Something's licking me.
Yeah. Other than that, I think like a lot of people have told me it's just like, inaudible garbage. I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
You know who's the worst at sleep talking?
Who?
Nick.
He's a sleep yeller. I remember. Oh my gosh! I remember we were sleeping in his basement, and his basement had like stadium seating in a sense.
Yeah.
So I was up on the top on the carpet, and Nick's on the floor, and it's the middle of the night, and he sleeps on his stomach, which is really weird. And only weirdos sleep on their stomach. And I hear, Mom. What? What? No, Mom! And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong?
Like
what's
out
wrong?
Of nowhere.
And he's on his stomach, like on the side of his face, like, no, Mom! No! And I'm like, what are you yelling? Why are you yelling?
So the first night I ever slept over at Nick's house, I
love this.
That was probably 13. We were just sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
And we were like right next to each other for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, 13-year-olds, whatever. And it was like early. Like I was awake already. I think it was probably like 6 o'clock. He's facing me. He's on his side.
Yeah.
And he's facing me.
Cuddling?
No.
Oh.
And clear as day and way louder than he needed to. Yeah, I'll have a number 4, please. No onion, no mayonnaise, no tomato, extra pickles, and a side of French fries, please. And that was it.
That was it. He ordered a whole meal.
He ordered his meal.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything else after that.
Nope.
I'm like, what is going on in the human brain?
Yeah.
That halfway through a dream, you just decide to start talking. And then you stop.
Yep. Oh. There's been other times we were on like a missions trip, and he and I were like locked in a closet. Don't ask me why. Sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Edit this out. Anyway, but I just remember he would just be like, ah! It's like, you okay? Like, okay, Nick.
Yeah,
you okay over there?
Do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, people sleeping are silly.
Yeah.
Like Joe.
Dude, that guy is a rumbling chainsaw polar bear when he sleeps. Like
until he starts choking.
And then you got 5 minutes to fall asleep.
It's kind of sad, but
because it ramps up. It ramps up, and then and then I just remember whenever we'd sleep in the same room or whatever. Oh my gosh! Hold on. So remember when we slept on the hill?
Yeah.
So we took a tent and we slept on this hill on our at the church we used to go to.
We were like guarding the property before like a color run or something.
Right. That's right. So that night, we all slept in a 2-foot by like 3-foot tent.
We slept in a 2-person tent with 4 guys.
Yeah. And Joe slept, I think, in the middle. Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I remember
he should have slept outside.
So I was on the edge, you were on the edge, and then it was you, Joe, Nick, me. And as we're sleeping, Joe is again choking and snoring at the same time. And it was so loud that I remember Nick turned around to me and he was like, just try to sleep in between the snores. And like he'd ramp up for like 5 minutes, and then he would like he'd choke, and then you'd be like, okay, I gotta go sleep right now. And then you gotta try and get to sleep before he starts snoring again.
But you also kind of want to make sure he's not dead.
Yeah, but he'd sleep on his back. And then he'd be like, before he goes to sleep, he'd be like, guys, don't make sure I don't sleep on my back. We're like, all right, cool. And then he'd be sleeping.
But he wouldn't tell us why.
No. And then we'd find out why. And then he would be snoring.
And then, what are you choking on your tongue?
And he'd be like, yeah. And then we'd hit him to scoot over, and he'd be like, I'm not on my back. We're like, dude, you're on your back. You're dying in your sleep. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness gracious.
That's funny. And he would like vibrate the floor whenever he would snore. Oh, that's funny.
Oh man. I don't sleep talk.
No, you're pretty quiet. There was that one time
the alarm.
The alarm. Yeah, that like
that's the only time.
Burn on the iPhone. I think I held it to your face or something, and you were just like, abandoned ship. It's like, what? And you're like, what? Yeah, but you were sleeping on like a love seat.
Yeah.
That was you were way too
that's
big.
that's what it's like when you sleep at Nick's house.
That's right, yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm going to take the big comfy couch, even though I'm 4 feet tall. And you sleep on the love seat because you're a gigantor.
Yeah, he'd be like, I'm going to go sleep in my bed. There's no blankets or pillows, so see you in the morning.
Nick, if you want to make fun of us, you have to start your own podcast.
Yep, or come on the podcast. Maybe, because it's so true. And all those memes where it's like, when your friend doesn't give you a blanket or pillow. That was Nick's house. Yeah, that was Nick's house.
Oh, yeah.
I'd wake up, and the problem is Chris and I are both 6'2". His family, 4'11" and below. They are short. So all their blankets are 4 feet long.
Yeah.
So it'd, cover my torso for the most part. So I'd be sleeping. I'd be freezing. I have got no pillows.
Yeah.
I've got one napkin for a blanket. And the house is 85 degrees. Oh,
silly. They do sleep at that house super hot.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, good times.
Well, I think we have plenty of content here.
I think so too.
Quote contest this week
Uh-huh.
is,
I want to see the baby.
we will all be very quiet. Okay. You got to let us know what that's from.
Message us, text us, whatever
and
it is.
We'll give you a little shouty in the
Shouty.
beginning of the next episode.
We don't have enough money to give you a prize, so the best we can do is say hi.
Speaking of not having enough money,
Yeah.
if you would like to sponsor Prone to Ponder, you can give a certain amount of money every month
Mm-hmm.
to us. That's where it goes. It goes directly into our pockets, and that would be much appreciated.
Yep.
If you find yourself listening to these podcasts and you're like, oh, man, I'd love to see these guys keep doing this because it's only getting better and better, or, man, I would love to see these guys keep doing this because it's only getting worse and worse, and that is super entertaining.
Hilarious.
But if you want to give, you could go to our Anchor page.
Mm-hmm.
So go to anchor.fm/prone to ponder, and you can sponsor our episodes.
And it's also in the link in Spotify, right?
It is. Yeah. If you go to our Spotify page,
Yep.
You can also give there. That would be
I will also
awesome.
put it in our YouTube channel, which we have a YouTube channel.
We do have a YouTube channel. And go ahead and follow that. Subscribe to that because it's only a matter of time till we start video. I can't really say videotaping because that doesn't make any sense anymore. Before we start videoing us doing these podcasts, and then you could see, the stupid faces that we're making, and
and laugh along with us.
It'll be extra entertaining. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, evening,
Or night.
or night.
See y'all later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.